Hello everyone, I'm Catherine Doyle, author of The Lost Girl King, and I just want to say a big hello and thank you. I'm absolutely delighted that Read Donegal 2023 has chosen my book to read and discuss and hopefully enjoy. I'm very honoured and delighted to share this book with you all. And I'm particularly honoured that it's been chosen for Read Donegal because Donegal has such a special place in my heart. Both my grandparents, Charlie Boyle and Mamie Macaulay, were from Arranmore Island, and they were huge inspirations to me as I was growing up. And they read me lots of stories, actually, that I think helped me to become a reader and later a writer. So I suppose I'll just tell you a little bit about The Lost Girl King, and you might already know about it, so I will keep it short and sweet with no spoilers, just in case. The Lost Girl King is really the story of siblings Amy and Liam who are sent to stay with their gran one summer in the west of Ireland in a place called Connemara, which is this sort of very rugged, very beautiful, very green area of Ireland where it rains a lot. So it's raining when Liam and Amy get there, but they see this strange white bird and they decide to follow it because there's not much else to do, and they end up tumbling through this ancient waterfall and into the land of Tir which I'm sure, as many of you know, is this mythical, magical kingdom of eternal youth. Well, Liam and Amy always thought it was just a fairy tale that their gran used to tell them. But suddenly, they're standing inside Tir in the middle of this huge forest with giant trees that seem to be watching them and animals that seem to be a little bit more alive than they're supposed to be, a little bit smarter and a little bit stranger, if you will. And so what happens, unfortunately, very quickly as they are exploring, poor Liam gets kidnapped, and Amy has to decide whether she goes after her brother or whether she runs home back to Connemara to tell Gran. And luckily for Liam, Amy is very brave, and she does decide to go after him with the help of a green cloak boy called Jonah, his friend who just so happens to be a squirrel called Conan, and a band of very grumpy, semi-retired warriors called the Fianna, who you might have heard of. And what follows is this sort of ancient epic rolling quest across the plains of Tir where Amy comes in contact with all kinds of people and creatures, mythical creatures like selkies and pukas and wraiths and scary magic and exciting cool magic. And of course, a giant curse that has been placed upon the land that she hopes she'll be able to break. And while she's on this rolling quest, Liam wakes up in Silverstone Castle, and he's really terrified when he realizes he is the prisoner of the evil sorcerer Tarlock, who plans to use him in one of his wicked spells. So Liam thinks, I have to get out of here, and in his quest to do that, he comes across a lost little girl who has accidentally become king. There she is. And it turns out she's looking to go home as well. And so what follows is an ancient, epic, magical showdown. And I won't tell you who wins. I better not give too much away. But if you have already read the book, I want to say thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have yet to read it, I hope that you find it funny and adventurous and surprising, with a few twists in there, hopefully to keep you guessing. The Lost Girl King was actually inspired by my very favourite stories when I was a little girl. My dad used to read to me about all the ancient Irish myths and legends, and some of my favourites were Tir of course, anything to do with the Fianna warriors, the Children of Lear I also loved. And they were the very first stories, I think, that I read that I really loved and made me want to read more and more and more, all kinds of stories and all kinds of books. So I hope that as you're reading, you recognize some of those stories or some words or some characters that you might have read or heard about before in other much, much older books than this one. And I suppose that's all really that there is to say. So I will leave you with this thought. Happy reading, and if you're feeling creative or imaginative, I encourage you to try and think of your own favourite legends or stories and reinvent them. Imagine what they would look like in the modern day. Just as I imagined what Tir would look like in 2023 if we accidentally stumbled into it and found out that it was cursed. So happy writing and happy reading.